Da 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 da. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video with myself, Hydra. I am here interviewing Mooman again. What's up, Mooman?
Hello. Thanks for having me. Never been interviewed before, but here we go.
No, it would be terrible if someone had interviewed you before and got the audio settings wrong, and that would be embarrassing. Your voice might be... It would be terrible. Your voice might be familiar to some people on the channel, as you were in one of our little Dark Heresy one-shots, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, I was. That was fun, yeah. Our little modified Dark Heresy system. It's very old by now.
It is dated by now, but...
There is now a Dark Heresy system out there. But...
There's so much on Foundry, including what you've created, which is kind of why we're here, so we should probably talk about that. So my screen's currently hovering on the official module map of Reichland as such, this is like the image I've been trying to get a hold of for like the last year, to be like, please can I have this so I can
So you can read the river names?
Yeah, exactly, so I can read the river names, so I can go through and put all these tokens on that have all the info that is here. But we should probably rewind for a second and actually just mention the fact that this is an official module rather than something that GM has to do themselves. Which is like a step forward in the world, so something good coming from 2020. So, how did that happen between you and Cubicle 7?
Well, to make a long story short, we were, I guess, one of the first systems other than D&D on Foundry. We're sort of neck and neck with Pathfinder 2, and we've sort of back then, Foundry was a really sort of a fledgling little program. Nobody really sort of knew what we were doing, and we just sort of wanted to make a system so we could play online with our friends. And so gradually we made this. As it grew in complexity and features, it gained more traction among the Warhammer community, and as Foundry grew as well, as Foundry exploded in popularity with release, it was clear that we had to change some things because there's some copyright issues involved. So eventually we took everything down, and everyone was so sort of, they wanted this, and they wanted Cubicle 7 to also to support this. So everyone mass emailed Cubicle 7 asking them to support this. So they contracted me, and this is the result.
And here we are, with saving GMs billions of hours of their time and life. Like, it's...
Yes, this is much more than what was removed back in June or July. This map, for instance, with all the journal entries.
Yeah, so now we've got stuff divided into the various modules that are out. So you can get Foundry, you can go on the Foundry website and you can go ahead and buy that. Or if you're a patron, you can kind of go and enter your patron and try and get a discount. And either way, you'll end up with Foundry, which is, in my opinion, the best software in the world. And then you've got the Warhammer software for it, which is, I think, the best platform within Foundry. It's not technically a platform, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Best system. Well,
it's the best system. It is. It is.
I don't know. Pathfinder 2 is looking pretty good, but
accept your compliment. Accept it. It's great.
It's definitely it's one that spent probably some of the longest time in the oven. It's, as I said, it's one of the earliest systems, so we've had a lot of time to add tons of features.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were diligently watching what our campaign before, being like, hey, I saw this guy couldn't quite figure out this number, so I've done this to make it easier for him. Like, this has been through the ropes. And
I mean, yeah, seeing your campaign was definitely helpful. Like, there's various people out there who early on were sending requests, especially those coming from Roll20. Because that was my goal, was to basically beat Roll20 in terms of Warhammer. And that provided really good feedback and really good sort of idea of where to sort of lead this and how to improve it.
And yeah, and it is great that it's turned into something that is so comprehensive. So we should probably just outline that the system, as it is, does so much for you, for those that aren't familiar. So I can go on a person here who's got a poison dagger, which I believe is a custom item from an adventure, and then you can directly roll for combat through that. I can take tokens and effectively do the majority of maths just sort of while sat in my chair, and the game system calculates damage. It can even apply it to tokens, and you've also got awesome dice that roll on the screen, which I think probably need.
Yeah, enabled.
Yeah, I think I've got it enabled. Let's have a look. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, so good.
Nice.
And
so also coins. Do a
slash
or 5DC, I think it is.
5DC.
I love it.
It's so nice. It's so cool. And you can change the color of those, which I'm going to take a little while to just, highlight. So, and this
you can change the color of the coins, but you definitely can of the dice.
Yeah, you can change the dice colors. So I like Tiger King, but you've got so many different colors here. And this is part of one of the modules, isn't it? Not the actual the ability to roll the dice, but the skin for the dice.
Yeah, the 3D dice, and you can add the Warhammer design for the starter set 1D100. That comes from the starter set module.
Oh, it's so good. It's so satisfying getting that noise. It's someone's gone above and beyond with this as well, right? Because you can even customize the noise it makes. You can change it to like rolling on a metal tray or rolling on wood or felt. I like felt.
There's a lot of customization.
Ah, Jesus, it's so good. So within the modules, let's have a little chat about them. So you've got like the base module, which has this map in it. It fills in a lot of your compendiums with stuff. So like all of a sudden you've got all your careers.
So to be clear, I mean, there's the system by itself, which has basically nothing except skills and some like the money items. And you'd have to do this basically all on your own, fill out all these details. If you don't want to do that, you can pay the $15 or $20, depending on when the sale ends, for the core module, which will include this Reichland map, which is fully pinned, as you can see, as well as all the trappings and talents and everything you could ask for.
And it's all got all the details you need. It's got how much gold it's worth. It's got the rules. The rules are integrated into it. So when you equip someone with a sword that's got a particular rule and you roll, that rule will apply to it. Like there's perhaps a couple of exceptions where like maybe shoddy weapons, when you fail with them and fumble, it doesn't tell you that it breaks. But like 99.9% of the rules are...
Yeah, there's tons of edge cases that, I mean, I still haven't accounted for, but you can always, tell that to me, and I can see what I can do depending on the nature of the.
Well, you have to do something as a GM, but in a system that has so many rules, this does a lot of the legwork for you of what I would say is the more monotonous stuff. So like calculating SL, all of the tedious things that aren't necessarily a huge amount of fun. So going through and calculating,
as well as, like paying for stuff as well. A lot of people complain about the sort of the money system in Warhammer and how it's a bit confusing, which I can understand. But I still like the charm of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So the payment system is really nice because you can simply prompt players to pay a certain amount, and it'll automatically calculate it from the sheet and deduct it.
That's tasty.
Yeah.
That's tasty. And you can generate characters. You can type /CHAR. You can quickly generate a character. You can roll the stats. You can drag and drop the stats directly onto the sheet. Roll your skills, drag and drop them into the thing. You can create a character in this within 30 seconds easily. And have the complete process done. It's just... So as well as all of this, so we've got the various modules now that are now tied to the adventures. So we've saved a lot of GM prep here by just integrating, let's say, the rules and the system and a lot of like let's call it like the DM screen or the GM screen is pretty much integrated into this. But that being said, there is also a sheet for the GM screen as well, just in case you need to go over some rules. So, it's nice having a physical copy there, but it's really handy not having to have it under your monitor, over your monitor, blue tacked on the side of your head.
Yeah, that's the goal of the system, is basically eliminate the need for the book at the table or when you're playing.
Yeah.
I don't really find it a good way to like ingest the material in the first place. Like I wouldn't read the book through the journal entries, but during the game, absolutely. And hopefully, whatever you need is going to be linked from what you already have. That's one of the things I've been trying to do, is link journal entries together.
So what I've noticed is, let's say you're doing the adventure of one of the many adventures within Rough Nights and Hard Days, and okay, so within here, if I go to my actor directory, we can go to we've got the starter set here. We've got Uber Shrek, Rough Nights and Hard Days. There we go. So we've got the 3 feathers. There's all my NPCs. So that's my GM prep already done there. So you're still going to need the adventure to actually kind of know the story as such, despite the fact that within the notes of some of these, there is all of like the plot hooks and such and things that you need.
Sure. Although when you say adventure, I mean the adventure's in the journal entries. It's not. The book isn't really needed here. Some of the I guess introductory material I didn't include, but all the adventure, all the plots, all the events. Like if you go to the journal entries, you can see them.
Right. So they're in there not as separate entries. Are they in there as like a linear, like you can read from start to finish?
Yeah. So.
Right. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so in theory you could get away without the book if you bought this.
Yeah, I'd say Rough Nights and Hard Days would be good. Would be runnable without the book. As I say, I don't really like this to ingest the material in the first place. I don't know why you have those aren't organized into folders. I think the top folder you have up there would have them organized at the very top.
I have. These are. I've downloaded things multiple times. This is all over the show. Like I've got lots of different modules running and things from different modules of unofficial things and stuff. So the more organized stuff here is the stuff Mooman's done. So plot summaries 3 fet. There we go. Right. Okay. So that makes more sense. There we. Oh my god. Okay. So that's great, and it links you to the character sheet. Good lord. So you can sit there as a GM and be like, right, you're doing this. Okay. Maria walks in the room. Click on Maria. It's a lot nicer than flicking through the book to find Maria.
And can't forget the clock. I don't think
and
you have
the clock. I don't have it enabled, and it's in what module settings somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not.
Actually, that's configure settings.
Configure settings somewhere in
here. You
here.
might not have Rough Nights Hard Days enabled in the first place. I don't know.
I think I do, but there's a lot of stuff to enable and disable. But we've got a clock in the bottom right, and I'm going to find it in a second.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, show clock.
Show clock. Ah, there we go. Save. Do I have to restart now?
Yeah, go ahead, refresh. This was actually an interesting sort of request from Cubicle 7, which I was surprised to see, because they were like, hey, it'd be really cool if we had this clock that would keep track of the adventure. And I'm like, sure, give me the graphic and I'll see what I can do.
And you can left click and right click to move time forward and backwards.
Yeah.
And you
the
can
instructions
shift.
Are in the, Shift will do an hour, I think, and then control will do 10 minutes.
That's neat.
And it'll integrate with the other calendar module, so it keeps track of time in real time.
Right, okay. Funky. So what we've got here is effectively a bunch of modules that save the GM a hell of a lot of time. So even if you've already got the book and you're thinking, well, why do I want to buy something digital or for something I've already got? You're kind of paying for someone to do the GM prep for your adventure, but maybe not all of it, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of points where I'm like, well, I would like to flesh this out, but, it's not in the book. So there's definitely still... You can't flesh it out 100% in the module because the work would never end.
Yep.
But I've done everything in the book, and the rest is up to the user.
Yeah. It's the sort of stuff, though, that you would want probably to offload to someone else, like importing all of the data for the characters, importing the tokens, importing the descriptions from the book to the tokens. So it's all the stuff that you would be like, oh god, if this was just here, it would be helpful. You'll want to make your own notes, and you'll want to do a few bits and bobs to help out. But it's really nice to see that Cubicle 7 have sort of embraced this, because there's...
Yeah, I definitely did not expect that at all. I was very skeptical. It's not really Cubicle 7 I'm skeptical of. It's more Games Workshop. And
absolutely.
they seemed to let Cubicle 7 do what they wanted to do and let them lead the charge in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay online.
Yep.
And they did that with both this and their Roll20 announcement. So that was really cool that everything went smoothly on that side.
Yeah, I had the expectation of it going the same way as Virtual Tabletop, them being like, well, no, everyone needs to buy the book and not use this. But I guess the thing is here they had an opportunity to say, well, actually, this doesn't have to hurt our sales. This can be an addition too, because most of the people that buy Foundry and buy the modules will probably still want the book. Like, you don't have to. Yeah. But it's not a bad idea because it's just the way the book presents it is going to be, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I don't want to read the book on Foundry, but if you wanted to, I suppose you could.
Yeah, for sure. But there's an appetite for it, clearly, because we had lots of people email them saying, please, can we do this? Because I mean, I was enjoying immensely the software during my previous campaign, because I've said this numerous times, is I don't think I could run a D100 system without Foundry now. Because
it depends on the D100 system. But
it depends on the system, it depends on the players, it depends on the GM, it depends on lots of stuff. But having done it, I'm like, okay, you get the joy of all of the depth from the D100 system, but it removes some of the pain that is associated with it. And
I mean, I wouldn't want to run a game at all without Foundry, even locally.
Exactly. And I've noticed as well, is this your macro directory here? There's a whole bunch of.
That's not mine.
This is no. I didn't do that. This is the Foundry one, is it? Because there's a whole lot of.
I don't know where that comes from.
Okay, well,
I think that might be from your old game. Or
wow, I just clicked it and there's loads here, and I'm like.
But I do want to add a few macros. Like, one I have in mind would be like you just select two people and they oppose test each other. That would be really handy.
Yep.
Something I want to do.
I had an idea of like a macro for all tokens down that have Sixth Sense to do a hidden GM role for Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that's really easy to do.
That's a cool macro. Like, because all of a sudden that saves you as a GM 3 minutes of your life being like, right, who has Sixth Sense? And then the players being like, right, why are you asking? What's going on? What's happening? And then they roll it and they see what they roll, and it just the suspense is ruined.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy macro I can whip up for you.
Yeah, like
later if you want.
There's some things like that I'm like, you know what? Being able to do this stuff on the fly is just really, really neat, and I'm so happy that this is happening, and you're doing Empire in Shadows and all of the bits and bobs. Empire. You've done that.
Was it Enemy in Shadows? Empire in Flames is the 5th book, I think.
That's the one. You've done the first one. I'm looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, there's tons to do, and I just released Middenheim, and it's another thing to do.
Which
I'm excited about. But
I need to check that out actually.
Yeah,
does that have more tokens in it as well?
I mean, it has more portraits, which means more
That'll do. Because one thing I've been really liking for my campaign, I'm going to self-promote now shamelessly. This is a Moo Man interview, but I'm shamelessly self-promoting, is I've been just using these tokens. I love the fact that the character art is consistent. So I can have my 2 tokens here of Salsa and her daughter Werther. and like, I've got about 150 of these bloody tokens here, and they all are artistically consistent, which is so important.
I've tried to include a bunch of extras for various stuff. If you go to the compendium, you can see the career descriptions,
Yep.
which include the full body artwork for the careers.
Yep.
And if you go into the files, you can actually find tokenized versions of that artwork.
Yep. Yeah,
But if you click on one and go to the I think the image button at the top, you can see it there.
the eyeball?
The one on the right. In the middle.
I'm being a potato. There we go. Yeah. Nice.
And you can find a tokenized version of that in the same folder or nearby.
And I think you can also just click to you could have this as a journal entry and just show this to your players and be like, here's the person that appears in front of you. God, I love Foundry. It's so good.
You can assign that same artwork to an actor if you want. And use that.
Let's check out the Scout. I want to know a little peep.
There's something really satisfying about seeing this artwork within the sort of Foundry UI here.
Definitely. I'm such a big sucker for everything being artistically consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need everything to match, otherwise it breaks my immersions. And
these Warhammer more than anything else.
Definitely. But having all of these tokens is a blessing in itself, and especially if you're doing another adventure and you don't want to run Lord of Uberstrike anytime soon, fine. Your players walk into a tavern and who's this? A Galena steps out. There you go. You meet a girl in the bar. Let's just quickly see what she is. Okay, she's a bit like that, attractive, etiquette, nobles, fine. There you go, and there's your NPC that's already made. You could probably put these all in a random folder even, and just have a bucket of NPCs.
Yeah, after it's all imported, you can move it around as wherever you want.
Yeah, you've got your your compendium section where things are, let's say, fixed and can't be broken, and then you can import them. You shouldn't be able to break them. If you are, you're doing something a bit wrong with your files, and then you can import them into your editable, and then you can make things like different types of ale for different taverns that cost different prices, and just glorious. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer, Mooman, but we've done, I think, a fairly decent job in selling the various reasons people should probably be using Foundry. Although,
this is only the tip of the iceberg, and it comes to the features available. But we don't want to go 3 hours long.
I would say, if someone wants to know actually what can Foundry do, you probably want to check out Mooman's sort of more thorough going over of that.
I have a video that goes over each module and in more detail of what each provides. So if you want to see what if it's worth the money to you, then feel free to do that.
I will, as a brief summary, have one token attack another one. Just because in this video, I don't know, everyone's going to just then click on another video immediately after. You might go over to bed, but I can click on this. Yeah, we'll click on the knuckle dusters. We'll click on the name. We'll roll. We could have put other modifiers in. Advantage. We could right click and add that there. So we've targeted Grim. There we go. So we can then click on the other token. We'll click on the wrong one, obviously, and then we can do another. He will oppose with his dagger. There you go. And then to do an opposed test, we click here. We click. No. I don't have to do that. I'm still doing it the old way, aren't I? I just click this, don't I?
Well, what you did here was you targeted.
Yep.
And after the target rolls the response, it automatically does it for you. Because notice after Grim rolled his dagger, it already did the damage.
Cancel that. There you go. Done.
However, if you want to change something or oppose someone else with that same roll, you would use that button that you were using.
I see. I'm going to apply damage. There you go. And there's our damage applied. It's already factored in toughness. And you'll notice as well I had the options to apply the damage without toughness, without this, without that. I've got lots of options. I can even make it private. So there you go. So Foundry, for me, absolutely amazing. These modules are a great step forward, and I really hope that everything they make... I just want more items as well. I'm making my own, but I just want them to make some as well, to be like, these are the official items, and Now they're all in my item armory. So I just look forward to briefly, because I haven't looked into it, and it sort of titillated my interest. What's in the Middenheim stuff? What are you cooking in there?
I saw a few magic items. I haven't given it a good read, but there were some interesting sort of magic items in the shop that looked interesting.
Okay.
Interested to see how I can put that in the game.
There's a few magic items in Überschreik, right? I think there was a couple of like a tonic or something.
Yeah, there's a potion shop that has a bunch of weird potions in it. But there's it's not magic, but there's the highly valuable exotic Arabian saber or scimitar.
Yeah, okay. So what else is in the Middenheim section? We've got the map, obviously.
The map's going to be just like Reichland and
okay, so it's got all your bits and bobs and all of your info sort of attached to it, right?
Yeah.
Neat.
But as far as I've seen, it's just a ton of info. So, it's just going to be a bunch of journal entries and some career items and some maybe magic items.
So a great sandbox, basically, for anyone that wants to like start a campaign or even have players go to a new area for a while. Just like that module has got you covered for like a few months.
Power Behind the Throne coming in soon.
Yeah. Cool beans.
You're going to have a complete Middenheim setting. Eventually importable into Foundry at some point.
Cool beans. Okay. Well, thank you very much, bud. It's been nice chatting as always, and I'll be sharing this everywhere I can because everyone should think about this if you're interested in this because it is just glorious. And it saved me. I spent 25 hours doing about 5 tokens on my last map in Roll20. It's not like to compare the two platforms, but this is... this has just done everything that I wanted to do instantly. And I probably would have been there for like 40 hours just fiddling with bits and bobs. And so, yeah, for like, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours pay, it's all done for me. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mooman. Take care of yourself and keep up the good work.
Can't wait for the game.
Soon. Oh, while we're here, I'll promote myself very quickly. Thank you for the reminder. 11th of December, 8:15 GMT PM on Roll Corruption, which you're watching right now. We'll be restarting a campaign, which Mooman will guest in from time to time. Take care.